Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay, so I kind of actually got reminded to make this video because ZZ actually brought it up in Sword Fights and Heights Legends. So it actually helped me because it reminded me that I needed to make a video about this. So, essentially, what am I making a video about? Well, I'm making a video today about Estrogen HRT, and what exactly is going to be, what's going to be happening with me? What does estrogen do? What is it going to be like? So, estrogen is going to change a lot of things, both, like, mentally and physically. I'm going to get it through a legal source called Plume, and I'm going to get, like, blood work and everything associated with that done, so that I don't freaking die from a blood clot. Is there actually government agents down there? Yes, there is.
Okay, move in! We got him!
Okay, anyways, that's besides the point. So anyways, sorry, my blood pressure's a little high because I drink an energy drink. So anyways, what's gonna happen is I'm going to take estrogen, progesterone, hopefully by injection, and I'm just gonna list some of these, like, kind of changes, physically and emotionally. So emotionally, I'm gonna get, like, a lot more, I'm going to get a lot more intense emotionally, probably, because that's what estrogen does. You form stronger bonds with your friends, with the people that you love, you know? Like, I have a partner. I have Robin as a partner. If you look at my Discord bio, you can see that. I love Robin. So anyways, yeah, I might form closer connections and bonds with friends and with people like Robin, my partner. And part of the reason why I hate testosterone so much is because I feel like I'm missing out on kind of the bonding experience when it comes to people. I feel like testosterone kind of makes it limited. It kind of limits the kind of emotional richness that you can get versus when you compare it to estrogen. So there's that. So yeah, that's what's going to happen emotionally. Now there are a lot of physical changes that are going to happen, such as I'm going to be developing breasts, for example. I'll just say that much. The fat will redistribute across my body, around my body, from my stomach more to, like, my legs and things like that. So that's another change that'll be happening. I will become... Now, I have thought about this a lot, but essentially I'll also become infertile. But that usually takes a series of years for that to happen. The reason why I don't mind is because, like, I don't want children. We live in a world where ChatGPT is taking over all the entry-level jobs, where things are getting more expensive, where politically things are turning south, you know, with the whole government ID thing, the internet thing. That's only gonna get worse. The standard of living is only gonna get worse. There's a debt crisis, and people are like, yeah, but, like, if you have children, we need children to shape policy or the future of the next United States. And it's like, my child is not gonna have that type of power. Like, maybe if I was born to some really politically wealthy family or powerful family, then yeah, I would be more compelled to have children. But this idea that, well, if I have a kid, you know, we might change, the next generation might change how our failing world is going, might redirect it to a more positive environment. And what I say is that's bullshit, because my child is gonna have nothing except voting in a presidency when there's one in millions of people voting. Basically, they're not going to have any political power, right? Unless they become super, like, lucky, wealthy, Yeah, you get the point, essentially. Is that argument I find is flawed, because my child would be an ordinary citizen, wouldn't be some sort of special person in power. So anyways, yeah, I don't want to bring a child in this world when everything is going to be controlled by OpenAI, when all the entry-level jobs are requiring 5 or 6 or 7 years of experience, where rent is getting higher and higher, and it's just not worth it. You know, if this were back in the day, even like 10 or 15 years ago, I might have a different opinion on it. But as of right now, there's not really much that's going to change my mind about that. And also, I wouldn't be a good, I guess, mother. I wouldn't be a good parent because, first, I'm just not wanting an 18-year responsibility. But also, I have a lot of physical disorders on my dad's side. And my dad, all of the, like, males live to their 50s and then they drop dead and they die. Well, they drop dead and die. They drop dead, okay? So, do I really want that for my child when there's an assorted amount of physical disorders like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, some like Hashimoto's also spreads throughout my family. Do I really want that for my child? And then on my mother's side, I have a bunch of mental disorders too. So my mother's side, they suffer from potentially Alzheimer's. Like my mother's father died of Alzheimer's. They have a history of depression. Both sides of my family have a history of alcoholism, and it's like, so my genetics are not really good to raise a child, to have a child in this world. I am not fit or in the position to take care of a child. Children are very expensive, and it's only getting higher and higher as time goes on, the costs. And my child is not going to have any sort of political influence over what goes on in this country anyways. And all my child is really going to be doing is suffering. So there's no point in having children. So I decide, well, alright, I don't really care about having children. So estrogen will make you infertile. You will develop breasts. You will develop fat redistribution around more like the legs and the hips. But what's most interesting about estrogen, and what absolutely shocks me, is that you'll get kind of these pseudo periods. I'm not kidding about that. So yes, you don't have a uterus, and the uterus doesn't shed. However, you can have signs of premenstrual syndrome. So you can have like bloating and a lot of cramps, and sensitive parts of your body may hurt more. Like they might hurt temporarily. You will have fatigue. You'll have mood swings. And this happens over a series of weeks, and it cycles. And I've been looking on forums such as Reddit, and they basically say, yeah, every trans woman that goes on HRT will essentially have this problem. So believe it or not, I will have to deal with something resembling periods, which is very interesting. But I think the reason why, because I'm going to get into now why I chose to do estrogen so early. I did it for a couple reasons. One, because my dad is no longer a factor that I have to consider, right? So I moved out of his house, I work, I pay for my own rent, I'm paying for my own estrogen service, right? And so his opinion doesn't really matter to me anymore. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter. So there's that. The second reason is that estrogen prevents a lot of things that I want to be able to do. So for example, if I want to dress like a girl and not have a freaking mustache, which would be I would be embarrassed, honestly. Like, if I didn't pass as a girl and I started wearing, like, dresses and stuff, and I had, like, a mustache or a beard, I would feel embarrassed. And I think that I'm rightfully embarrassed I'm rightful to be... I'm in the right to be embarrassed by that, you know? It's just something that I don't want. And so estrogen really does make you look more woman-like, and you can start to pass as a woman. And you start getting rid of facial and body hair. And that's another thing, too, is that when it comes to shaving, like hair, for example, facial and body hair, I am getting sick of it. I'm getting pretty tired of it. Because it's like a constant thing. I keep putting on, like, applying hair, which is kind of similar to beat. And it works a little bit, but there's still hair on my legs and arms. And I keep having to doing it like every 2 or 3 days because it just keeps growing back. And so what estrogen will do is it'll make it softer, grow less frequent, especially testosterone blockers, which I also plan on taking. So I plan on taking estrogen, progesterone, and maybe an androgen. Because I don't think progesterone is an androgen. Progesterone just supports breast growth, and it supports, like, positive mood changes. Now, I do have a mood disorder. I have bipolar 1 disorder, which I actually want to give an update on in a future video, maybe in the next couple days. Just like, what it's been like, you know? What it's been like living with it for so long. So yeah, I might give an update video about that, but, right, so, oh crap, I didn't know that I was, I find that I shouldn't. So anyways, yeah, I think progesterone, oh yeah, I have a mood disorder. How's it going to impact it? Well, that's a fair question, and the short answer is, I don't really know. So I don't really know how estrogen is going to impact bipolar disorder, bipolar 1 disorder. It could make it, you know, to where it's, I've heard in general that estrogen improves your mood. However, it can also make you have mood changes and mood shifts. The company that I work with, Plume, was like, yeah, hormone replacement therapy with estrogen will basically make it to where you're crying over random commercials that are sad. Like, you will have extreme mood liability, and I'm like, oh my god, like, really? Like, over a sad commercial, I may just break down in tears and start crying? Like, that seems dramatic. I can't imagine myself doing that, you know? But, yeah, that's what I heard about estrogen. It may impact me negatively, but it may also not be so bad, and it could actually improve my mood overall, which is, you know, it's usually high. I would consider myself to have a hyperthymic personality. And also what estrogen does is it makes your skin softer. My skin already happens to be very, very soft. So, yeah, as far as that goes, I don't know how it's going to make it even softer, because my skin is already really soft. I mean, Sulfur and Robin are two of my partners. Sulfur, we're not really together quite as much. I mean, Robin and I are in a serious relationship, but Sulfur, we're kind of testing out the waters, you know? So, Sulfur's skin is really soft, but and she's on estrogen, and she's been on estrogen for months. I am purely, like, testosterone right now, right? Because, well, I was born male, like, I was born as a cisgender male. And for some reason, my skin is just as soft as hers, and softer in some places than hers. Like, for example, my hands are way softer than hers. So it is quite interesting how estrogen will make you even softer. You know, I'm actually quite interested in that, to say the least. And also, estrogen also, it makes your sweat, like, your skin gets less oily, and your sweat, becomes, like, it smells less, you know? Like, it doesn't smell really bad. It smells a lot less. So that's also something that's mildly interesting to me, too. So yeah, I guess those are all of the major changes that I'll be going through with estrogen and anti-androgens, emotionally and physically. Now some people say they're glad that I'm taking estrogen because, like, I'll be infertile, but you know what? I'm glad too. For all the trolls that are like, oh, you know, you'll take estrogen and you'll become infertile, and I'm glad. Let me just say I'm with you, because I don't want to raise a child in this economy, in this world. It's not something I want to do. So, you know, I mean, trolls, like, there are a couple on Sword Fights and Rise Legends. They live, rent-free. They live rent-free. I'm always in their head. Right? I don't ever talk to them, but they just randomly ping me and they bring stuff up. Like, oh, you know. So I'm living in their head rent-free. And it's actually, it amuses me that they are so bothered by my presence. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to cover some of the major changes with Estrogen HRT. Again, the part that I'm most surprised about is that I'll get cramps that are similar to period cramps. Like, I'm actually quite interested in that. But anyways, yeah, that's all. See ya.